She thought she was doing the right thing by feeding a hungry little boy. But when the owner found out, his reaction left the entire staff stunned. It was a rainy afternoon in downtown Atlanta. The lunch rush had just ended at Denny's Corner Diner, and Emily Carter, a 26-year-old waitress with tired eyes and a kind smile, was wiping down table 9 for the third time that day. Emily wasn't just working for tips. She was working for her younger sister's college fees, her mother's medication, and just enough to keep the lights on in their small apartment. So when she saw a skinny boy, maybe 7 or 8, standing outside the window with rainwater dripping from his hoodie and his eyes locked on a half-eaten plate of pancakes, her heart dropped. She stepped outside. "You okay, sweetheart?" she asked gently. The boy didn't speak, just nodded toward the food. "Are you hungry?" He nodded. Without asking another question, Emily brought him inside, sat him at a booth, brought him warm pancakes and apple juice, and a towel to dry off. The other staff stared. "Emily, what are you doing?" one of the servers whispered. "He's just a kid," she replied. "I'll pay for it. It's fine." But it wasn't, because the moment the diner's owner, Mr. Bradley Morgan, walked in and saw the child eating, no receipt, no order, no parent, he froze. "Emily," he said sharp, "my office, now." The boy looked down, scared. Emily reached for her wallet. "Sir, I'll pay, But Mr. Morgan didn't let her finish. In front of the boy, in front of everyone, he said 5 words that made her go pale. "You're fired. Clean your locker." The room went silent. The boy tried to hand her back the food, tears in his eyes. Emily smiled through hers and said softly, "It's okay, sweetie. I'd do it again." She packed her things, no final paycheck, no second chance. What she didn't know was that someone had been watching, and what the owner would do next would leave the entire town speechless. Emily walked out of the diner into the rain, no umbrella, no job, just a heart full of confusion. Why had he reacted that way? She had served regulars who didn't tip, dealt with rude customers, covered missed shifts without question. And this, helping a hungry child, was the reason she got fired. She wiped her face with her sleeve, unsure if it was rain or tears. Maybe both. Back inside the diner, something strange happened. Mr. Bradley Morgan, known for being strict but fair, stood frozen in the middle of the dining room, eyes locked on the little boy's plate. His hand trembled slightly as he picked up the untouched corner of a pancake. Then he sat down, right across from the child. "What's your name, son?" he asked, softer now. The boy, still nervous, answered, "Tyler." Bradley took a deep breath. "Where's your mom?" Tyler shrugged. "She's looking for a job. Said she'd come back for me. I waited a long time." That's when Bradley's entire face changed. A memory hit him like lightning. Years ago, he had been that kid. He'd sat in a shelter at 8 years old, waiting for a mother who never came back. He remembered the ache, the hunger, the fear, and how a diner owner, a stranger, had once given him a warm meal without asking a thing. He had forgotten what it felt like to be seen. Until just now. He stood up, eyes wet, and told his staff, "Close early. I need to find someone." 15 minutes later, he pulled up next to Emily, who was sitting on a bench under a flickering street lamp, soaked and still in her apron. He stepped out of the truck and walked toward her. "Emily," he said quietly. She looked up, shocked. "Mr. Morgan, please, I'm not here to argue. I'll find another job." But he shook his head. "I was wrong." She blinked. "About what?" He exhaled, voice rough. "About you, about the kid, about a lot of things." Emily stared at Mr. Morgan, stunned. He wasn't the towering, stern figure she'd always known from behind the counter. Right now he looked human, vulnerable. almost broken. He sat beside her on the wet bench without saying a word at first. Then he spoke. "I grew up just like that boy, Emily. I was abandoned outside a shelter at 8, hungry, angry, forgotten. And one day, a man handed me a hot bowl of soup and told me, 'You matter.' That moment changed my life. I've built this diner to be tough, clean, efficient. But somewhere in chasing that, I forgot what mattered most." Emily's eyes softened. "Then why did you fire me?" He looked down at his hands. "Because seeing that boy scared me. It brought it all back. The pain, the loneliness. I wasn't angry at you. I was angry at myself for forgetting where I came from." Emily was quiet for a moment, the rain softening around them. Then she asked, "So, what now?" He turned to her with eyes that had made countless decisions in boardrooms and kitchens, but never one this personal. "Come back, not just as a waitress. I want you to help me run something bigger. I'm starting a program, Dignity Plates, where anyone who walks in hungry eats free, and I want you to lead it." Emily's jaw dropped. "I'm just a server." "No," he said firmly. "You're the kind of person this world needs more of." Back at the diner, Tyler sat at a booth, coloring on a paper placemat. When Emily returned, soaked but smiling, he ran to her and hugged her tight. She knelt beside him and said, "You did more than eat today, Tyler. You reminded people how to feel." Bradley watched from the kitchen window, the corners of his mouth lifting in a rare smile. And for the first time in years, he wasn't thinking about profits. He was thinking about purpose. 3 months later, Denny's Corner Diner looked different, but not because of a renovation. It was because of a wall near the entrance, a wall filled with Polaroid photos, not of celebrities or food, but of people. Smiling kids, single moms, veterans, teens in hoodies. Each one had received a free meal through the new Dignity Plates program. And at the center of it all, a plaque read, "Started by a waitress who chose kindness over policy, and an owner who remembered his own hunger in time to change everything." Emily now wore a name tag that read, "Program Director." She still wiped tables, still poured coffee. But now she ran a system that ensured no one in their town went to bed with an empty stomach if she could help it. The community rallied around the mission. Local bakeries started donating bread. High school students volunteered on weekends. Even city council members showed up quietly, offering silent nods of respect to the girl who once got fired for caring too much. One special evening, a familiar face returned. Tyler, now living in a shelter with his mom, who had finally found a job, walked into the diner holding a hand-drawn card. He handed it to Emily. "Thank you for feeding me when the world looked the other way." Emily hugged him close, and Mr. Morgan, watching from the back, whispered to himself, "Sometimes the best thing you can serve isn't food, it's dignity. Because one meal won't change the world, but one act of compassion can change someone's world completely." And that's exactly what she did.